Hi guys, it's Cath. Today I'm going to show you how to make these adorable miniature food items inspired by Japanese cuisine. Let's get started. The first miniature item I'll make is also the simplest. With some green, light green, and white clay, let's create lettuce. Just grab a bit of each color and roll it into a ball. Then just squish it down with a clay tool, adding more light green and white as needed. I like to squish it onto a sticky note so it's easier to remove. Bake it according to your clay instructions and it's done. Next up is sushi. I started with some black polymer clay for the seaweed. Just flatten it out as thin as you can. Then add a small flattened rectangle of white clay for the rice. Add to that small tubes of red, yellow, and green clay. Make sure all of these fillings are on one half of the seaweed. Roll it up as tightly as you can. Then with a little pressure, roll the piece across your table to thin it out and elongate it. Once it's about 1/4 of an inch thick, cut it into 1/8 inch sections. This step is so satisfying and I love seeing the cross sections. For the final detail, use a dotting tool to add texture to the seaweed. I baked these at 275 degrees Fahrenheit for about 10 minutes. Next up is some rice. First, grab some white clay and roll it up into a ball. Flatten it out and cut off the sides to make a rectangle. Add a bit of texture with the tip of my utility knife. Roll out a super thin piece of white clay and cut it into tiny segments. Then stick those pieces onto the block. This added detail makes the piece look a lot more realistic. I didn't add any to the center because it will be covered by some wanagi. That takes us to our last miniature piece. To make wanagi, also known as freshwater eel, mix some brown and white clay together. We're making 2 pieces here. Flatten it out into an oblong shape. Then use a small dotting tool to add an indentation line down the center. Also add some dents around the edges as well. Then I use a utility knife to cut a bunch of lines down the center. For some color, I'll be using these chalk pastels. I use a dry brush to add some brown to the center. Add it in layers. Then brush on some black into the center line and down the edges. Bake the clay. Once it's hardened, I use acrylic paint to add dark brown to the center line and then black along the edges. This gives the colors a lot more definition. Lastly, for some gloss, I brush on some polyacrylic varnish. Now you can add all these pieces into the bento boxes we made last week. That's it. I hope you guys liked this video. Give it a thumbs up if you did and make sure to subscribe for more. I'll see you next time. Bye.